What's his name? He has been so nervous. I told him we were having at least 16 people, so he's a little happier tonight. And first of all, I think Jim's first love, of course, is the field of cartooning. We're tremendously honored by the outpouring of the members of the National Cartoonist Society. Those that aren't here have sent messages, but we welcome you most cordially. I'm afraid to start introducing because we'll be here till next Ash Wednesday. So we welcome you, and in particular I want to thank Bill Cressy of the New York Daily News for that marvelous job out here. I hope you've all signed it. Take a bow, Bill. Bill Cressy. And in absentia, our dear Bob Dunn. He sent in his masterpiece. So again, if you haven't signed those things, please do. I had to get some introductions before we start the show, so there's so many people here, you all should be introduced, and it's just impossible. But we always love to have the Ziegfeld Club with us, and the girls are here tonight. Doris Minton, Peggy Fenline, and incidentally, they're having their annual gala next a week from Friday, the 23rd, honoring Twiggy, right? Right. So I think there may be some tickets left. Are there, Doris? Yes, good. Okay, and I have to thank so many people. Tommy Ash for handling the tickets, Kevin McMullen for handling the liquor. We have one of the outstanding young directors working the spotlight. Joe Nunley's up there. He might call out. Jim was tremendously impressed by our backdrops done by a gentleman who unfortunately couldn't be here because he's working, but one of our young lambs, Bill Savoy, did those. So anyway, I think we have a few introductions more, but we're just delighted you're here, and we're going to have a very lovely show for Jim. Those of you who know Jim well know that he loves music. So Lewis Hardee, who has produced this evening, has a theme of beautiful music. And to start off the evening, we have a lovely young lady who, though young in years, has cast a wonderful ray of sunshine in musical theater, nightclubs throughout the country, halfway around the world, as a matter of fact. Her name is Nancy Rich, and she and her husband, Harlan James, are also composers of quite some renown. In fact, Harlan James is the musical director at Dangerfields, and whenever they need a class act, Nancy goes up there and works there. So it's a great pleasure to start off with a kind of a cartoon theme from Annie, Miss Nancy Rich, ladies and gentlemen.
That's loud. We don't need all that. Do that again. Hey, ho, man. Hey, dapper Dan. You both got your style, but brother, you're never fully dressed without a smile. Your clothes may be Beau Brummely, they stand out a mile, but brother, you're never fully dressed without that smile. Who cares what they're wearing on Main Street or Savile Road? It's what you wear from ear to ear and up from head to toe that matters. So senator, so janitor, you both got your style, but you're never fully dressed. But though you may wear the best, you're never fully dressed without a smile. NYC, what is it about you? You're big, you're loud. come out tomorrow, so you gotta hang on to tomorrow. On one day, tomorrow, I love you. Tomorrow, you're always a day, always. Remember that. When I'm stuck with that day, that's great. I'm lonely. I just say I'm a sin and I grin and I say the sun will come out tomorrow, so you gotta hang on to tomorrow. Come one day, tomorrow, I'll love you. Tomorrow, you're always a day, always just one day. Tomorrow, I love you. Tomorrow, you're always a Thank you. Hope I cheered you up a little bit. Thank you very much. You're an angel, all of you.
Nancy Rich. Oh, what a way to open the show. Nancy Rich, ladies and gentlemen. Nancy, take a bow. There's a gentleman sitting here who is one of our great entertainers, and he's here out of respect and love for Jim tonight. He's sitting. He's not entertaining tonight. One of our truly greats, Mr. Steve DePass, is sitting over there. Steve, there he is. Get the light over there, Joe. Steve DePass. There he is. He dresses funny, but he's very talented. Now comes the moment that Jim's been anticipating for a month. I have the great pleasure and privilege of introducing a friend of mine, which immediately brings to mind that cliche, with a friend like him, who needs enemies? But I have to be very serious and dignified in introducing this gentleman, because tonight, although he's a multi-talented gentleman, an actor of great renown, he's closed many a Broadway show. Tonight he is working in the capacity of roaster, lambaster, louse biographer, whichever terminology you care to use. And we have paramedics standing by for Jim in case needed. But anyway, it's a pleasure to introduce my dear friend, Earl Rowe. Earl.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Isn't it amazing how Annie has grown? Well, when they asked me to tell the Jim Ruth story here tonight, it was a very difficult assignment, because Jim is a very private person. He's a shy person who's very humble. Of course, he has a lot to be humble about. Now, this is a story of victory over adversity. Now, here's a boy born of middle-class parents of modest means, a boy with meager talents and few skills, and a lackluster personality, who rose from obscurity to become a vice president of one of New York's larger banks. On May 17th, 1930, Jim made his first public appearance at St. Albans, New York. Now, these were the days of the Great Depression, when people were jumping out of windows. And Jim's father took one look at him and he almost did the same thing. Instead, he vowed never to have another child. He had 3 boys and a girl, and he didn't need another one. But Jim's mother loved him dearly. She catered to his every whim. And when Jim started school at the age of 6, he was still sucking on a pacifier. And Jim sucked on that pacifier all through 8th grade school, which made him the object of ridicule by the other kids. They nicknamed him Baby Ruth. And they beat him up every day. Jim had a terrible life. It was a very difficult time for young Jim, but he refused to give up that pacifier. When he was ready to go to high school, his mother got him a cigarette holder. She figured that'd be a little less conspicuous. And it wasn't too bad, because Franklin Roosevelt was then president, and he'd made them popular. So the kids nicknamed Jim FDR. The black kids loved it, because they supplied him with joints to smoke in that holder in exchange for his lunch money. But Jim went on and graduated from high school. And he went out and got himself a little white plastic cigarillo tip to use. He thought that would be less conspicuous when he was wearing his cap and gown. And he's sucking on one of those to this very day. Jim's early interest in art developed when his mother gave him his first copybook and crayon box. Jim had opened up a whole new world for Jim. He started scribbling in that copybook from corner to corner, filling every page, using every color crayon he had in the box. And when he had filled up the copybook, he proudly took it to his mother to show her his drawing. His mother looked at each page and said, "That's lovely, Jim, but what are they?" Jim said, "They're rainbows, Mommy." And Jim was then only 14 years old. By age 15, he had mastered stick figures. And you could easily tell the boys from the girls because he added a little something extra to the boys. And at age 17, he was drawing poodle dogs. And that's where he really excelled. But before his art career could get off the ground, he was drafted by the United States Army. They were the days of the Korean War, so they were taking just about anybody. Jim took infantry basic training, was sent to Korea, and assigned as a forward observer to a South Korean infantry company. Now, Jim's duties were to make maps of enemy positions and call back coordinates for the field artillery to level artillery strikes. But one day, Jim made a slight error, which resulted in the entire South Korean infantry company being wiped out. Jim barely escaped with his life by running for the rear as fast as possible when the first shell hit. But when he was discharged from the Army and came back to civilian life, he went to art school. He chose the would-be cartoonist and illustrator school here in New York. Took the prescribed course, graduated, and got his B.S. degree. Now wait a minute, the B.S. degree is not what you're thinking. The B.S. stood for bright student. But Jim found it didn't open any doors, because when he took his portfolio of sketches to the ad agencies, they took one look at his sketches and said, "Well, you're just a B.S. artist." But anyway, Jim was dejected, and he was very upset. So he took a vacation. He went to Atlantic City, New Jersey, and he started doing charcoal sketches of people who worked the boardwalk, charging him 25 cents a sketch. And he was doing very well at that. He was making between $4 and $5 a day. He also collected empty pop bottles and turned them in for the 2-cent refund and picked up a couple dollars there. And one night he had a few bucks in his pocket, so he walked into a little nightclub that featured go-go dancers. And there on the bar was a cute little Irish girl dancing away. Well, Jim took one look at her and fell madly in love. That little Irish girl was our Jerry. And Jerry had a class act in those days, too. She refused to work topless. She insisted on wearing pasties. So part of her duties was to slip on a sweater and a skirt when she finished dancing and come down and hustle drinks at the bar. And Jim was thrilled when she headed his way. And she asked him to buy her a champagne cocktail. So Jim complied and started telling her how wonderful she was. And he pulled an original romantic line that just put Jerry away. He said, I want to make sure I get this quote right, because Jerry said she'll never forget it. He said, "What's a nice girl like you doing in a place like this?" Well, when Jerry heard that, She thought, here is a gentleman who sees me for something more than just a sex object. And she fell madly in love with Jim. The next night he was back again, buying her more champagne cocktails, sweet-talking her again, and he gave her another romantic line that really did it. He said, let me take you away from all this. Jerry accepted his proposal just like that, and they were married. Now, Jim's life improved 100% because he didn't have to sleep under the boardwalk any longer with sand in his hair and things like that. He moved into Jerry's furnished room over the bar. Now, when Jim got married, he was very naive. Even though he'd been in the army, he was never very good with girls. In fact, he was still a virgin. But since Jerry was in showbiz, she was able to teach him everything he always wanted to know about sex, but was afraid to try. And they had a fantastic honeymoon. But when the summer end of the summer rolled around, they came back to New York, and then things weren't quite as rosy. Although Jerry hit the big time. She went to work at the Metropole. They even gave her featured villain, Jerry the Gyrator, and she was really dragging them in. But Jim couldn't get arrested. Try as he would, nobody gave him a job. So in desperation, he formed the Cartoonist Workshop, which made up of some of his colleagues from art school. Now, what they worked on in that workshop were little comic books, little 4x5 comic books, 8 pages. They took all the popular comic strip characters of the day, like Dagwood and Blondie, Toots and Casper, Moon Mullins, Maggie and Jiggs, all of those, and they put them in these little comic books. And Jim wrote the stories and all the dialogue based on his honeymoon experiences. Then they sold these books on the street corners for $1.50 apiece. But Jerry was furious. She said, no husband of mine is going to sell porno comic books. So she gave Jim an ultimatum. She said, either you get a regular job or it's all over. I'm leaving. So Jim started looking through the one-eyes, and one day he saw that the bank wanted a teller. So he hustled right over there, and he told them that he was a war veteran, a Korean War veteran, and he was also, he loved banking, he said, ever since his first piggy bank when he was a kid. So the bank president said, okay, we'll give you a shot. So they put him on as a teller. And Jim was doing very well, but he was a little unhappy because he wasn't using his artistic skills. And one day he got lucky. The no smoking sign fell off the wall and broke into several pieces. Jim quickly volunteered to make a new sign. And he knocked one out in about 5 minutes. The bank manager was so impressed, he took him out of that teller's window and he said, you're going to be our audiovisual director. He gave him a little desk and a drawing board off in the corner of the bank. We gave him some magic markers and some illustrator board, and he said, make us some signs. Well, Jim made not only no smoking signs, he made get online signs. He made signs for the teller saying, close, go to the next window. He made signs saying, check on our 5.25% interest, compounded quarterly. And that was just the visual portion of Jim's job. The audio portion came in later. At 3 o'clock every day, he'd take the mic and say, ladies and gentlemen, the bank is now closed. The guard will let you out by the side entrance. Now, when Jim became a banker, an executive, Jerry decided she couldn't be a go-go dancer anymore, so she quit that. And she went to Columbia and studied to be a librarian. So she graduated and immediately got her library card. And she started working as a research librarian. Now she was a professional girl. And Jim went on to become an assistant vice president. Not only that, but 1 year later, no, just 1 year ago today, Jim was made a full-fledged vice president. How about that? And now, based on his success, Jim is writing his biography. It's called Life in the Slow Lane. And it's being published by Boring Publications. It'll sell for $3.50 a copy in hardcover. Now, I know that sounds like a lot of money to you folks. But look, it's going to have a lot of pictures of Jerry when she was go-go dancing. So it'll be well worth the price. And not only that, but there's some movie interest in this book. They've already scheduled it for a motion picture, not a major motion picture, you understand, but it's going to be shown as a TV movie as an after-school special. And they've already hired the star to play Jim in the picture. And can I tell them who the star is, Jim? No, I couldn't do justice to that. The star will be none other than that fine dramatic actor, Rodney Dangerfield. Good casting, right? And now to tell you more about the Jim Ruth story in song is that wonderful narrator, actor, and singer of songs, Mr. Peter Collins.
You love Gilbert Sullivan. I think it only right that the ensemble be mentioned: Nancy Rich, Sharon Miller, Ed Betlow, and Ray Gonzalez. Thank you very much. Thank you. Now to carry on our musical theme, this is one of what's your name again? Jim's favorite singers. Every Thursday night at the happy hour, they end up sometimes the wee hours of the morning singing old songs. This gentleman learned his trade well. He came along in the era when music, you had to interpret it well, you had to have diction, and you had to know what you were doing. He's a fine fellow, and he does a beautiful job with special songs for Jim. Mr. Gene Rodgers, ladies and gentlemen.
Right away, 'cause it's a good day. for paying your bills, and it's a good day for curing your ills. So take a deep breath and throw away your pills, 'cause it's a good day from morning till night. I said a good day from morning till night. Thank you. Thank you very much. It's a pleasure to be here tonight to honor Jim Ruth, a great guy, a man's man, a lamb's lamb, and one of Earl Rowe's favorite foils. But if I may, I'd like to do an old standard for you with some special lyrics for this happy occasion. So, Jim, this is for you. We know why you're happy, why you're never blue. It's because your Jerry loves only you. Why should you spend money on a show or two? No one does those love scenes exactly like you. She wants to make you feel so grand. She wants to give the world to you. She seems to understand every little sketch you're sketching, dream you're dreaming. Now we know why Jerry kept her love so true. She met herself for someone exactly like you. We know why we're here now. Jim Ruth, it's your big night. We lambs just like to say, you're really all right. You make those birthday cards for a lamb or two, and no one draws those sketches exactly like you. You make us feel so grand. We want to shake your hand and say, you seem to understand every little dream we're dreaming and scheme we're scheming. Now we'd like to say thanks for your thoughts so true. Say there's no one else, Jim, exactly like you.
Jim crying, huh? Peggy, do you and your colleagues at Bankers Trust know that he cries at weather reports? You're having a good cry tonight. This will make Jim cry because this is a wonderfully happy evening, but something that's really enhanced the happiness of the evening is the return to the fold of a gentleman whom we dearly love. He's had kind of a rough siege in the hospital of late, but he has come all the way from Staten Island, and anybody who's been to Staten Island, our own Eddie Mullen, we love him.
Thank you very much. I'm going to do a bit tonight that I was supposed to do at Ray O'Brien's night in January. I couldn't get over here. I was sick in bed with the nurse. But I had this bit all set for Ray O'Brien. You know, many times I've extolled Ray's successes, you know, being with Al Jolson, musical director for Hells of Pop and so on and so on. And I was thinking of one of Ray's failures, and I wanted to hit him with it, but you can tell him what I said. At one time, Ray O'Brien was musical director for Decca Records, and at this time, Doris Day was one of the stars. And there was a singer, maybe you might remember her, Evelyn Knight. Do you remember her? Well, Ray came up with the bright idea of having them both make an album together. He said he had a title to the album that was really a killer. You remember the names? Evelyn Knight, Doris Day. Don't say it. I know what you're thinking. Ray came out with the title of the album, Evelyn and Doris. And that was one of the reasons that Decca Records went down the drain. Now, tell Ray when you see him, huh? This is the bit. Part of this is true. A lot of it is my imagination and my wild, sideways thinking mind that I have. But my mother was from Sligo, Ireland. Subsequently, I have a niece who is a genealogist. B.N. Morehouse, her name is, legitimate. She is really considered one of the authorities on Irish genealogy. And about every 2 years, she goes over to England, London, and Ireland to dig up the background of her clients in the genealogy. And over there, the poorer farms, the little thatched cottages are composed of 2 rooms, a large bedroom and a very large kitchen. And they went over there, this is about 4 years ago. They went to visit the McCarthys, who is part of my family. My cousin sitting here used to be a go-go dancer. And they went to the little cottage, and unfortunately, Martin McCarthy had passed away the night before, and there were quite a few people, my sister, my niece, other people had come to the little town, and there wasn't enough room in the bedroom where Martin was laid out for the mourners to sit. So a young fellow by the name of Sharon Ruth suggested that they take the corpse off the bed, put it on the floor in the corner, so there would be room for the mourners to sit. And about this time, the parish priest, Father O'Brien, came in to say the rosary. He looked at the bed and he said to them, "Where's the deceased?" And young McCarthy explained to him that they moved him on the floor so there'd be room for the mourners. He said, "This is sacrilegious. This is degradation." He said, "Go out into the kitchen, get 3 chairs, or put one under his neck, one under his derriere, and one under his legs." So the young fellow goes out to the kitchen, where all the boys were sitting around, drinking to the health of the deceased. And he said, "Father O'Brien would like 3 chairs for the corpse." And they all stood up in a body and yelled, "Hip, hip, hooray! Hip, hip, hooray!" No, not yet. Now wait for the Dixie finish. When my mother passed away a few years ago, we were all out at Calvary Cemetery, and before we went back to our cars to go home, my niece gave us a copy of the family tree with the surviving children of my mother, and I learned some very interesting things about my family. I learned that my mother had an older brother who came over here a year after her, and he was a young widower, and he was here about maybe 6 months when he went to a dance at a hall called Tuxedo Hall on 59th Street, an Irish dance hall. You remember the place? And he met a girl by the name of Kathleen, and he fell madly in love with her. Still being young and virile, he decided to ask her to be his bride. And after the wedding, he brought her home. He said to her, "Kathleen, here's the house, the furniture, everything in it is yours. But there's one little favor I'd like to ask you. Off the hall is a little closet, and on the top shelf there's a little blue velour hat. I wish you wouldn't touch it. It's a keepsake in memory of your wife who passed away." Well, she promised him she wouldn't touch it. Unfortunately, about 8 months later, poor Kathleen passed away. Pneumonia or something. He grieved for her, and about a year later, he's at an Irish dance hall in Brooklyn on Bedford Avenue called Koch's Hall. And he met Bridget. Fell madly in love with her. Still being young and virile, decided to ask her to be his bride. After the wedding, he brought her home. He says, here, Bridget, here's the house, the furniture, everything in it is yours. There's one little favor I'd like to ask. Off the hall, there's a little closet, and on the top shelf there's 2 hats. A little blue velour hat, a little green velvet hat. I wish you wouldn't touch them. They're keepsakes in memory of your 2 wives who have passed away. She says, Pat, I'll not touch those hats, but let me tell you one thing. The next hat that goes in that closet will be a derby. Thank you. That's enough. Wait for the Dixie finish. The family didn't know Pat was a drinker until one night he came home sober. If there was a nip in the air, he'd find it. I wouldn't say he was a barfly, but he's the only guy I know that had rheumatism of the hip from putting wet change in his pocket. And one night he's in New York, feeling no pain. He's going up Broadway with one foot on the curb and the other on the gutter, and he's making great time. Cop stopped him and said, "Hey, you're drunk." He said, "Thank God, I thought I was lame." A little farther up Broadway, he ran into Father Shelley from St. Malachy's. The good father took one look at him and he said to him, "My God, Pat, what have you been drinking?" He said, "3 fathers' feathers." He said to the priest, "By the way," he said, "Father," he said, "last week you had a raffle. You were raffling off 3 cars, a Cadillac, a Buick, and a Ford." He said, "Who won the Cadillac?" The good father said, "Bishop O'Keefe won the Cadillac. Wasn't he lucky?" I said, "Yes, wasn't he lucky?" He said, "The Buick, Father, who won the Buick?" He said, "Bishop McGovern of Brooklyn won the Buick. Wasn't he lucky?" I said, "Yes, wasn't he lucky?" He said, "The Ford, Father." He said, "Who won the Ford?" Good father said, "Monsignor Ryan won the Ford. Wasn't he lucky?" Priest says to him, "By the way, Pat, how many chances did you take in the raffle?" He says, "Not a damn one. Wasn't I lucky?"
Eddie Mullen. Now I have the pleasure of introducing one of our prettiest lambs, Joyce Audley. She has been working so hard on this night, Jim, behind the scenes. She's in cahoots with your wife, Jerry. But she's a fine actress. She does so many commercials and voiceovers. But tonight, she's going to sing a special song for Jim, Miss Joyce Audley, ladies and gentlemen.
Everything leads me totally home.
You know, Lewis Hardee, the producer of this show, has done great research, and he's found so many things about Jim that I didn't know, one of which is that his very favorite show is Frank Less's Most Happy Fellow. It may be presumptuous of me to tell you the story, but you must remember that it's about an Italian wine grower in Napa Valley who sends to San Francisco for a mail-order bride, a waitress in San Francisco. And here's a lovely young lady to portray that mail-order bride, Miss Sharon Miller, from Most Happy Fellow. The marriage went through some pretty rough moments, but a very touching moment in the show is when Tony Esposito, the husband, finds that his wife truly loves him. Sharon Miller is joined by Ray Gonzalez as Tony Esposito.
It's God's no rule.
We're gonna have a big party. The Sposalizio. Everybody was a Mr. Sposalizio because I was an accident. But now, tonight, we're gonna have it. Then I'm gonna get up and make a big speech. A speech like this.
Ladies and gentlemen, have a through this party today to make big announcement that my wife, she's alone. My wife, she's alone. My wife, she's
Sharon, Miller, and Ray Gonzalez, ladies and gentlemen. I've been remiss in not mentioning our wonderful accompanist this evening, Chuck Carter. Marvelous. He's getting a workout this evening. 2 years ago, we did a presentation of Showboat. It was very, very successful for us. And the gal that played Julie just knocked us all out. We've been trying to get her to come back ever since, but in those 2 years, she's had a most eventful career. For one thing, she won the Metropolitan auditions, or the National Council Metropolitan auditions, the first singer in history to win that contest with an all-Wagnerian program. She has also made her operatic debut in the Midwest, and she's won her 3rd scholarship at Beirut. She leaves very, very shortly for Europe, so we're delighted to have Cynthia Karnstadt with us tonight. Cynthia Karnstadt. extravaganza, technical extravaganza, based loosely on Jim Ruth's life's work. Simply called The Funnies. The Funnies, ladies and gentlemen.
Here's hoping they follow me. Dad would go down and see.
Okay. Nobody there.
Nobody, huh? Dad would. There is a burglar down there, and if you won't go downstairs, I'll go myself.
Okay, but stay behind me.
I told you.
Oh, no! Never again. This is terrible. Sob.
Crying.
You don't know how frustrating this is. Nothing I do works out. Why, last week I stole my own car. I'm just no good at anything I try.
That's not true. We didn't hear you.
The dog woke us, honest.
You're just trying to make me feel good.
Blondie, why don't you make some coffee and sandwiches?
Good idea.
You people are too kind. I can't accept this, but thanks anyway.
Would it make you feel better if you stole it?
Could I? Gee!
Doesn't it make you feel warm all over?
I know what you mean.
That mud is following us.
Get away. Scat!
He's gone.
Yeah. Hey, hubba. Oh, there you are, little pal. Don't you ever run away from me like that again.
Hey, kids, announcing the all-new Daisy BB gun, the spitting image of the rifle that won the Golden West.
You can make money, win prizes with fast-selling American seeds.
Ronnie, if you're going to be a modern girl, you've got to be more sports-minded. Oh, really? Gotta get with it, Ronnie. Archie, would you like to play ball with me?
Anytime.
The heartthrob.
That's not what I meant, Ronnie.
Need extra money? $100 is yours from the cheerful greeting card company.
Hey, kids! Draw any person in 1 minute. No talent, no lessons needed.
Benny, what are you doing on the baseball field? You forgot, Ronnie, we've been liberated. Now we girls can go out for the team. That's a nice day. But I'd still rather go out with the team.
Are you a 98-pound weakling? Don't get sand kicked in your face. Just 15 minutes a day in the privacy of your own room, and you too can be like...
I give up. I just don't know why it's called out. A fine time to let me down.
Watch it starting!
Even Archie's wonderful. He can fix anything.
the Lamb's Repertory Company. I hope you're all aware of the fact that Jim Ruth did all those cartoons. It would be terrible if they didn't know that, Jim. You know, for years I've had the pleasure of working with cartoonists, dear Bob Dunn and many others, and I've always maintained that of all the facets of show business, these gentlemen are the most gracious and generous in giving of their time and talents. Jim Ruth epitomizes this fact. Every Thursday somebody has a birthday and Jim does one of his masterpieces, and we've asked people to bring their cards and just to wave to show what he's done this year. I don't think people have brought nearly. You got them? Wave them, Joe. Joe Penn. Here they are. Here they are. Hey, Joe. It's up Sis's birthday. Draw one, Jim. Joe won his sister's birthday. And Alice, you have something that you wanted to present? No, and the other two. I think I'm surprising Alice. That's what happens when you marry 110 years. Something else that makes this a very happy evening, as you all know, is Jerry's birthday, Jerry. And I have to tell you, he didn't want to do a card for you. But anyway, you come up here, darling. From your favorite guy. Happy birthday. Now you're older than Chuck, happy birthday. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Jerry. Happy birthday to you. Go into cardiac arrest. Will you please step up to the stage, Jim? Jim Ruth, ladies and gentlemen. Jim, I don't want you to have the price. No, that's the price tag. I don't want them to see how cheap we are. Jim, this is a tradition that we're very proud of. We kid a lot about it, but it's a very serious tradition, and we always give it to those we love. And we say it rather disrespectfully, a mug to a mug, but we only do it to those we love. Jim Ruth?
Well, the first thing I want to say is Eddie Mullen was back tonight with us, and weren't we lucky? Well, I want to thank a few people, and first of all, I have to thank my dear friend, Earl Rowe. Earl, I got to tell you something. I have met some talented men in my life, and you remind me a little bit of one of them. Now, to Earl's lovely lady, Amelia, I just have 3 words. Lots of luck. I have to thank, too, Gene Rodgers and Peter Collins. I don't know what to say about these guys, except they're always great. I have to thank Lewis Hardee, who put this show together. Lewis gives so much of his talent to the Lambs, and I think I know the reason why. It's because he has so much talent to give. Lewis had 3 conspirators on this show. Now Jerry and I have been married for a couple of years now, and up till the last few weeks, I didn't think we had any secrets, but I didn't know anything about this show tonight. Thank you, Terry. Another one of Lewis's conspirators is the lovely, and as you saw tonight, the very talented Joyce Audley. And I love it when Lewis Hardee meets Alice Dillon. He always says, "Hello, Miss Alice." Now that is class, and the reason that's so appropriate is because this is a very classy lady, Alice Dillon. And I'd like to especially thank the person we all should thank, the other half of this class act, Tom Dillon. And that, all I have to thank is everybody in the room. And I thank you all very much.
Well, if I can tell Bankers Trust you should do more speeches, Peggy. Huh? Everybody here? Great, Jim. That's it, ladies. I think we should do this more often. Chuck, everybody come up and sing. Come on, Pete. All the lads. Come on, Sam, Eddie. This is another tradition we're proud of.